Ooh, welcome everyone to another episode of Slasher Scotty. I am your host, Scotty McCoy, and boy, do I have a surprise for all of you. Actually, I have about four surprises for all of you because I have not one, not two, not three, but four members of the cast of of Hellsgate, the movie. And if you see a familiar face, it's because not long ago I already had one of them on my show, and you can tell who it is. I think this is like what, your fourth time on the show total now. Love
I
to
think
have,
so.
yeah, I love having Lydia on. And before, like, let's I guess go around, start with Aaron, and just introduce yourself and say what you do in the movie, and let's go from there.
Hi, my name's Aaron Hawkins, and I am the creator, writer, and I don't know how many other hats you need to wear in this industry, but well, let's leave it at those two right now. And I will probably be filling in, doing a voiceover as well for the movie as well.
Nice.
Um, Maybe
He's also
camera
the
on camera.
director.
Yes, that's right. I'm also the director too.
Director.
Yes,
The most important role.
Yeah.
yes, that's right. That's it. I hope.
So what about you, Lydia? Go ahead.
Oh, geez.
Um, I'm Lydia. I am assistant directing and producer, and I play Kelly Pinson.
All right, Otis.
Caught me off guard. Sorry, I was zoning out. I was in my own little
You're
world there
fine.
for a minute. Yeah, Otis. I play Keith. Almost, yeah, Keith Appleson. I was blessed with the lead, so I am the cult leader.
Nice.
Sprouts is where you need to be.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. And Doug?
Yeah, I'm Doug Perfido, and actually everybody wears multiple hats, like Lydia especially. She didn't mention a quarter of the things she does and she's doing on this film. But I'm playing Chef Adrian, as well as helping out producing and casting and whatever else we need. All hands on deck. But yep.
Awesome. That's great. And to get started, we'll start with Aaron. How did the movie become an idea and blossom into this film that is now being created?
Well, it started a little over 2 years ago when I started my sobriety journey.
Hmm.
Believe it or not, a lot of people kind of laugh and scoff at that, but sobriety is everything to me. Now, 2+ years ago, if you were to ask me that, you'd be like, okay, where do you want to go get a beer at? And I'd tell them, okay, let's go down to the martini bar down the street or whatever
Hmm.
and go get a martini instead. But now it's like, that's where it all started was with that. And when I first started writing it, it was insane. It's still insane. It's still an insane movie. It's just, it was just crazy back then. And the further I progressed in writing, your clarity is clear. And so, your mental clarity is a lot better. And this, that, and the other. And that's basically where it started was day one of sobriety. And it just blossomed from there. And it's amazing. I mean, I'm not going to preach about it, but
Yeah,
it's an amazing thing to have such a mental clarity to be able to write effectively and insanely.
absolutely. It really, and it's hard making a movie, even just as the writer, but when you're juggling all those other responsibilities, like director, everybody's calling you in every which way, like, hey, can I, hey Aaron, hey Aaron, hey Aaron, you get that, and then you're writing, and then you're trying to make this movie, but then you have somebody, and I know I always make her blush, but you have somebody as talented as Lydia Manson, um, you know. As your right hand woman, as she's looking around like, are you talking about me?
Yep,
I love Lydia
that's
though, I
true.
really do, but
Yes,
it's true, and she hates hearing about it, and she's just so humble, but she really is a great, great person, and I absolutely love her, and I love that hockey mask that she's wearing.
own that shit. Own that shit.
So how did it come into bringing Lydia on board for this film, and like did she start out doing all these roles or did it just adapt over time?
Oh man, gosh, I barely remember what happened last week, let alone how that progressed. I do know we did have a conversation, and she did mention, you know, helping out and that sort of thing.
I was brought on as just Kelly. I was Aaron asked me if I would play the role of Kelly, and I read it, and it was exciting, so I said yes.
Mhm.
And then a couple of months later, um, I got brought on as second AD,
Mhm.
and then got moved up to first AD, and all the other stuff, and here we are.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. So Lydia, we spoke briefly about it. I think it was last week or so. When we had you on for your solo interview. But just like going into this, what responsibilities do you hold for this film? What like you said, first AD, but do you do anything else? And what do
I do
those
nothing.
responsibilities hold?
I do nothing ever.
So
No, I do anything Aaron needs help with.
awesome, awesome. So let's go into Doug. So what can you tell us? Because you're playing the character of, is it Chef Adrian?
Chef Adrian, yes.
Awesome. So what can you tell us about this character, and what can people that when they watch this film can they expect from him? And obviously the director's on board, so we can avoid some spoilers.
Yeah, without spoiling anything. I mean, basically, he's one of the Keith's, right hand men. He's been there since the beginning. He's he's like the foundation. Like in any family, the person who cooks is
Right.
is usually the person who's solid, has the solid background. Plus, he helps out with any.
People that give me food are my favorite
There
people.
you go. And he's been there since the beginning, so he's kind of grounded in this family, in this cult. Yeah, but he's a good character, very good character. I'm looking forward to it.
It's awesome. And Otis, what about you? We know you're playing the lead, Keith Appleson. So what can you tell us about Keith? What can we expect from him?
He just wants to help people, man. That's all Keith wants, man, is for people to be happy. And what's one way to be happy than to kill the shit? Can I say that?
Yeah, of course, you can curse.
Oh,
There's
all right. To
killing in
kill
this
the shit in
movie.
your past, to bring about a new you. It's the same thing the military does. They break you down in basic training, rebuild a new man.
There you
I
go.
am your local community's degenerates. I'm that person for them. I break them down and I turn them into new people. I show them the way
Nice.
Mm.
because
Nice.
we
Yeah.
all need a helping hand sometimes, right?
And guidance.
And
Exactly.
guidance.
Mhm.
You get lost on your journey. You've had things that's happened in the past, past traumas, people that have done you wrong so bad that it completely just shot your life off into left field. And that's where I come into play
Yeah.
because
Awesome.
I am you and you are me. You look at me, you're looking into a mirror.
Awesome. So, Aaron, I guess
Yeah.
before we go any further into the conversation of the movie now, what can you tell us about this movie? What is Hell's Gate about?
I can't tell you anything about it. Well, it started off when I was originally writing it, it started off as a cult type of movie,
Mhm.
Hellsgate was the name of the cult. And when I was progressing in my writing journey, I noticed I'm like, wait a minute, I had in there 50 victims. And then I was like, wait a minute. I started looking it up, and apparently, I don't know if this is factually right or not, but I think it's at least 57 years ago that Charles Manson's cult existed. So I'm like, wait a minute, I can tie that to the script. So
Mhm.
that's how the whole Charles Manson thing came about. And, you know, and it basically all really started with a friend of mine approaching me, and she goes, "Have you ever thought about writing a movie about a cult?" I'm like, "Nope, haven't even given it a second thought." And we started talking about true crime and Charles Manson, and a bunch of other cult leaders and that sort of thing. And she was actually the one that came up with the name Keith Appleson. And she explained to me, how she came up with it. Keith is one cult leader, Apple is another name from a cult leader, and Son is from Manson.
Oh,
So
that's actually
that's how
pretty
that
Applewhite
came
clever.
from
about.
Heaven's Gate.
Yep,
That's
absolutely.
pretty clever. I like that.
Yeah,
I don't want
yeah,
people, like, when people see this movie, like, yes, we have the tie-in with Charles Manson, but I don't want people to think that Keith, aka Otis, is emulating Manson, because he's not. He's
Okay.
a combination of multiple cult leaders, and I've done tons of research. And
yes.
um, I even just gave Otis a book yesterday.
Started reading it today.
Well, it's really
Awesome.
interesting, isn't it?
It
So
is.
it's, Keith is going to be made up of several leaders. So he's going to be saying things that Applewhite from Heaven's Gate said. He's going to be saying things that Jim Jones said from the People's Temple. He's going to be saying things that Manson said from the Manson family. So he's not just Manson. He's all of these people that have entranced all of these people over all of these decades. And
Yeah,
it's not just one person that can do this. It's several people. It's hundreds of people. It happens every day.
Yeah.
absolutely
Awesome.
right.
So,
Yep.
Aaron, was there any like what I guess made you decide on casting Otis as your lead? Because don't forget the lead is a very important role to have. It's your lead, obviously, it's in the title. So how did you come about bringing Otis on board?
Well, his honestly, his looks,
Hmm.
because I just had, for some strange reason, I had it in my mind, his looks. I mean, he kind of has that Manson. I know it's not, the whole movie is not based around Charles Manson, just
Hmm.
as Lydia alluded to, but when I cast him, if you were to put like a swastika on his forehead or whatever, I mean, obviously Otis has
Which we're not going to
dreads,
do.
which we're not going to do at all.
Putting that
No,
out
In
absolutely.
there.
my
We're
contract,
not
no
going to put that out there.
swastikas.
No swastikas, because that's no, we're not going to do that. But I was like, wait a minute, he kind of has that Manson look. And
I've heard it
when I
before.
was talking to him and stuff like that, I was like, okay, this dude, yes, love his look. Let's see
Right.
what you can do. And it just went from there.
Nice.
I don't even think I requested an audition from him. I just said, hey, basically, would you like to play this role? Kind of like what I did with Lydia. So,
Hmm.
you know,
Nice.
that's what I think happened with that. It was so long ago, so I'm basing off of some old memory in the back of my head somewhere. But yeah, yeah, and I just have all the confidence in the world, and all these actors that are on with us tonight, and all the other ones that we have cast down the road as well.
Awesome.
And Lydia and Doug, they both of them, just I could sit on here and talk for hours about how much stuff they've done as far as casting and just getting all these people assembled. It's just uncanny. Just like for the POC that we did,
Right.
or that we did, that Lydia did, I should say. She wrote it and directed it and everything like that. And I tell you what, bellissimo, beautiful,
Yep.
beautiful, beautiful
Awesome.
work. I've probably
Awesome.
watched it. It's not going to show where, how many times I've watched it. I've probably watched it at least 8 times since the little revisions to it. So I'm very,
Yes,
very proud
Aaron
of.
has the final copy now,
Nice.
which
Yes,
has not been released.
no, it has not.
Awesome.
Not
So this question goes for both Lydia and Doug. So you both do help, dabble, do the casting. So what do you guys look for when you're casting somebody for this movie?
We had some. I know I had sat in on a couple like live auditions with Aaron that we did over like Zoom,
Mhm.
and some people you could just feel
Mhm.
they just weren't
Mm-hmm.
into it, maybe. You know, even watching some video auditions, I was not completely drawn into them. Some didn't necessarily have the look, or if we had already cast the person they were playing opposite, they looked too much like them. So you want to stay away from that. There's like so many contributing factors.
You know, you have location as well, because now we're looking for Illinois-based actors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's Illinois offers a 30% tax incentive for films in Illinois. So after we had begun the casting process and we were fielding auditions from XYZ, then we found out about the incentive and realized we needed to be more localized.
Okay.
So we switched it to that. We were only accepting people that lived in Illinois so that we could take advantage of that tax incentive and show local talent.
Yep.
And that's a really good thing. I know with us with Gravestone Films, a lot of us, like if you look at our movies, a lot of the people are people you'd never even heard of. We use our county based people because it brings a sense of community to the aspect, and it brings the localization aspect, and then of course the incentive. That's always a bonus as well. So I definitely think that's a really good idea, and establishing and bringing light to your local talent, people that if they didn't do this movie, nobody would even know of probably. So you've given them that chance to shine.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And as well as we in the cast, the leads, we also have Bill Oberst Jr.
Okay.
And Robert Lasardo.
Okay.
So there's your names.
Exactly.
And I have a lot of friends that are kind of big name people in the independent world, especially.
Awesome.
That we were considering in the very beginning too.
Awesome.
And you still never know, what's going to happen. But
exactly.
But I think without Otis, it wouldn't be a film. Like even watching what he did in the POC, like could not get better than Otis.
Right.
Yep.
And there's always that one person in the movie that is like it is like without them we can't replace them. Like they're really irreplaceable.
I've told Otis that since day one.
Yep.
And,
and you're absolutely right with that.
Of course, he's chime in right now when we're singing his praises.
Yep. And that's right.
I'm trying to figure out how to turn this damn light on. This is the thing about staying at Airbnb. It's right above me, and I can't find.
There's usually like a switch on the wall.
No, not this time.
It's probably like a book that's in the bookcase. You just tilt it back where the secret passage opens up, but you tilt the bookcase and the light.
and to piggyback off what we were talking about with Otis is when I watched POC, my main thing was like when I saw him and everybody else do their performances, I kept on going back to Otis because one word stood out to me was psychotic. Like when I saw him on camera, I instantly went to psychotic in my mind. So holy crap.
I can't wait to see
psychotic.
His
besides the look, his voice is captivating.
Yes. You're right. Oh God, yes. You're right about that. Yeah.
Awesome.
I was fortunate. I didn't have to give him a lot of direction for anything. It was maybe like hold that look a little bit longer because I knew we could use that someplace else, but otherwise he had it.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And you knocked it out of the park, Lydia. I have to say you knocked it out of the park, and you also had a very good cast and crew there too. Obviously Otis was there, Doug and everybody else. So it makes your job as a director easier if the actors are spot on and all you literally have to do is just tell them to do something technically, just hold it or whatever you wanted, whatever you need. And it makes your job a lot easier, much more seamless.
Exactly. So Doug, do you have for your character of Chef Adrian, do you have any specific ways that you get into character, like that you can make them seem like he's a real person when you're performing? Do you have any like any type of, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for?
He's in
Like
culinary school right now. That's how dedicated he is.
Yeah, yeah. Barbecuing tonight. Yeah, yeah. Honestly, I honestly think for me personally, besides memorizing dialogue, learning the character, learning lines,
Mhm.
the costume has a lot to do with it. What I wear, and I was gonna tell Lydia this today actually because yesterday me and Lydia were on set, or the day before, whatever it was, and we were we've been in what 3 or 4 movies now in a row where we're playing partners. We were detectives, we were officials, we were this,
Mhm.
and when we were on set the other day, Lydia, I'm sitting there going, it's amazing because she's a chameleon. She can look like anybody. She has that gift. I don't. She does. But when we're sitting there in our little outfits and our costumes, we were different people. And it was different from the detectives we just played. It was different from
Mhm.
the roles we played before that. And I was in
Mhm.
the room sitting there going, wow, just this change of outfit has put me in this place.
Mhm.
So a lot of it is wardrobe and they're getting into character. It really makes a difference. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but like look at like for example the movies that are set say that are still color obviously, but are set in the setting of 1800s, for example.
Ooh,
If you
period.
see having that old school 1800s wardrobe makes it look like a period piece from the 1800s.
Yeah.
So wardrobe really does play a good deficit to making the movie come off authentic.
100%. And it makes you get into character. It really does. It helps me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And now Otis, kind of piggybacking off of Doug, obviously you are the lead, so you that brings a lot of responsibility to the movie itself. So how do you prepare for making this movie a success? I mean, obviously you got the look and it seems like you have the natural talent. I can't wait to see you in the role. So how do you like is there anything else you do to bring this character to life and to help make this film a success when you perform your role?
No pressure.
No pressure, right?
Um, no, basically, I was fortunate because of my pastime activities, being in true
Mhm.
crime, being in serial killer. I've looked into a lot of cults. They fascinate me, and they have for years.
Mhm.
So, being, that I have that already coming into it, I already know a good chunk about how these people act.
Mhm.
Um, so I guess the long of it or the short of it is I don't do much preparing. I know that sounds very like you know anti-actor what they should do, but I
Mhm.
guess everybody prepares in a different way. That is my preparation. I try not to think about it
Yeah.
um until I'm ready to go.
Right.
uh as I'm getting on set, for instance, I'm still here in Connecticut for Fairfield, and I have another day of shooting. And piggybacking off of Doug's answer there with wardrobe, I had to get a specific jacket, army green jacket,
Mhm.
with a little hood on it. And as soon as I put that on, I start thinking like my character, who, isn't a huge part in the movie, but I think he's pretty, he's a somewhat important part of it.
Right.
Um, yeah, I get to thinking that way. And honestly, I've told a few people this, when I go on set, because
You told me.
I told you, wait till you hear it. Um, when I've never had any kind of like acting training.
Mhm.
Okay. What I've done coming into this, I've leaped on all the opportunities that I have to do this
Mhm.
because we're not getting any younger.
Right.
And I would like to do something like this. I've always
Mhm.
been fascinated with movie making as a kid.
Mhm.
Um, so I go into, on
think he froze.
Airbnb.
Pretend I'm 9, 10 years old again. We were all actors back then, you know. Girls would do their dress up, pretend they're their mom. Uh, boys would dress up, play army, go out in the woods, pretend that they're somebody else, and we all did a damn good job of it.
I do it every day.
Exactly. I'm acting right now. That's how good I am.
Right.
You had no idea. See?
Yeah, see? Yep.
He's not even
but
Otis.
that's honestly what's that, Lydia?
I said he's not even Otis.
It's not.
Right.
It's not. But no, that's really, it's so simple for me to grasp. Yes, there's technicalities or technical aspects, I should say, of getting into character. Certain things that, yes, go across the board when acting. And sure, a lot of those things, that I guess all actors, do or whatever. That's I don't know, completely lost my train of thought. No, I pretend I'm a kid when I step on. Okay, you want me to play this guy, and all of them are my friends, that I grew up with. That's how I see it. And
Nice.
then, okay, I'm just gonna act like this guy. And for some reason, it keeps working.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I'm
Awesome.
sorry, I was pressing buttons. Does it just come? Does it just go away?
I have no clue, and I never seen that before.
What does that say? No?
It says
no.
no with like a big like X on it. Like Lydia's like, Otis, you're fired. No, we're not playing dress up.
I'm gonna click it. Don't do anything.
So Aaron, I don't know if you can
Yeah.
really go into this. Maybe you can give us a little teaser even. But what can you tell us about this film that when the viewers watch this for the first time, that they will be shocked or surprised about how something was handled?
Oh man, I'd
Tough
say
one.
the kills. I'd
Okay.
say the kills. Honestly, I'm gonna go with the kills. People are gonna be shocked and surprised by the kills. Um, that was one of my goals, so to speak, was to have unique kills, and I think
Yeah.
this will do that for them. Another one might be, if you go a little bit deeper, psychologically, would be the depth to which the character Keith Appleson will be. Um,
Mhm.
and even some of the other characters as well, but I'm mainly focusing on Keith's and even Chef Adrian's, So
Yeah.
that's what I'm gonna say to that. Yeah.
Nice.
Nice, nice. Yeah, and I mean if you watch a Friday the 13th or a Halloween, people really do go for the kills. They want to see unique kills. They want to see good kills. They want to see the gore. And then they also want to have a good, story point, but they would like that twist ending. They want
Yep.
all of that mixed.
Yeah.
People don't really just go for like, like they have the campers or whatever. In
Hmm.
Friday the 13th, like but they aren't there they're there to see them die. They're not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what they like. That's
Yep.
what they see in those movies.
100%.
This is gonna be a good mix between excellent storyline and excellent kills. It's gonna be a very good
Yeah.
mesh for it all. And then
Perfect.
bam, just gonna hit you right in your face.
Perfect. So for this one's for both Aaron and Lydia, that I have. What I guess is the main goal for making this movie? What do you expect to come from this once it's released? I don't know if that makes sense.
Ladies first.
For me, because Aaron has brought me on as co-writer, so I've gotten to write some stuff for the film. And my main goal for it was at the end, I want people, because when you go see a scary movie, you know, Freddy's not coming after you, Jason's not coming after you. But with Hellsgate, I wanted to make it more psychological, so that at the end, you're looking at the people around you and you're like, wow, any of them. Because
Mhm.
the people in the film are just regular people.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they're doing these heinous things. But the people around you are just regular people too. You're a regular person. Are you capable of those heinous things? Are the people next to you capable of those heinous things? Yes, we're all capable of those heinous things. And that's going to be right in your face. And I think that's more terrifying than thinking about a slasher who,
Yeah.
when you turn the TV off, is gone.
Right.
Because when you get up out of your seat after watching that movie, you're still looking at the person on your right or your left, or you're going to the bathroom and you're looking in the mirror and
Mhm.
you're seeing what could possibly be
Right.
the real killer.
Yeah, and going off of that, like one thing that really gets me, and I'm looking forward to seeing this, because I know one thing that really scares me is the supernatural films.
Mm.
And I never told anybody this, not even my fiance. I haven't told him this neither. But one thing I really,
Spoiler.
one thing I am scared about is when I watch the Supernatural with my future mother-in-law or whatever, and I watch like a movie where there's a ghost. Like it's hard for me to sleep. I'm looking. I have to have the light on. I have to like. I hate because you think like, oh, is the ghost there? You know, because ghosts are real to me. You
They
know,
are. They're real to me. My house is
yeah.
haunted
Right, and the
Yep.
same thing about the Strangers movie. That scares the crap out of me because they ask, "Why are you
Yeah.
doing this to us?"
Yeah.
because
Because
you
you
were
Because
home.
because we can. We're bored.
can. Yeah. Yeah. You're not worried about you're not worried about a monster. You're worried about your neighbor. That's what
Yes.
you're worried.
Yes.
That is true. And to piggyback off of what Lydia said, yes, all of that, and then I also want the people in the seats saying, sitting on the edge of the seat, like, okay, what's going to happen next? Like
Mhm.
that kind of thing. And I love open-ended movies.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that way it gets the viewer to think, well, shit, there might be a sequel, there might be a
Mhm.
prequel. You just never know.
Yeah.
Um, and
What's up, bud?
you spoke to supernatural. Well, I have a supernatural horror film out called Evil Lurks that is
Okay.
on 20 different platforms. So go and check it out. That's a little shameless plug, but needless to say. But yeah, but definitely piggybacking off what Lydia was saying. That's absolutely correct. Plus
Yeah.
what I just said as well. So
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a bunch of movies I've seen where, and I think Stream was one of them. Like, is there going to be a sequel to that? There could definitely be a sequel to that, and they just announced
There is.
to be a
Yeah.
sequel to it. They just announced, and that's really exciting. And it's funny because on Wednesday I have Jason Levy, who plays player number one and is the producer of the Terrifier franchise. I have him on Wednesday coming on the show, and I can't wait to actually talk about that because that's another movie that scared me because it's like they might be killers, but they're not supernatural killers like a Jason or a Freddy or a Michael, where it's like,
Mhm.
oh, it's just once it's over, it's like it's not going to scare me because they're not real. Like people can put a mask on and pretend they're in a
And yeah,
game and want to kill you just for views.
and like at the end of Stream, when you figured to kill all the players are dead, the movie's over. No, 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 no. This is
Nope.
just one. It's one cell of a million cells that are
Yep.
happening all over the world. You know,
Exactly.
Yeah, but they already announced that David Howard Thornton is coming back, so you
he's
know that
yeah,
his character didn't die.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so it's crazy with how and that's one thing I want to see like, with movies. I want to know, oh my gosh, that was really cool, but wow, what they could go further with this, do a whole new movie. Another direction, but same concept, but expand upon that lore,
Yeah.
and that would be really cool to see. So going into more, I guess, business side of things, Aaron, is there an Indiegogo crowdfunding campaign, and if so, how can it be found and donated to? I know Lydia mentioned this at her interview, so anybody watching this, Aaron, let them know how they can donate.
all right. Yes, there is an Indiegogo campaign for Hellsgate the movie. It is on Indiegogo.com, and I believe you can just search in the search bar for
Hmm.
Hellsgate the movie and contribute that way.
Yeah.
Um, and on all of our social media platforms, numerous posts on the Hellsgate the movie Facebook page and Instagram page.
Hmm.
You'll see
Make sure to like and follow.
whatever. Yep,
Mm.
hit like and follow exactly, and in all the comments in most of the comments, or all of them, I should say, you'll see the link to go to the Indiegogo campaign and help us out.
Awesome.
So.
Yeah, and Aaron, hey, like I'm telling you this, I said this about Lydia, and I'll say it about Aaron. They're both great people, so definitely donate. I mean,
These are
I've
two
had
great people down here too.
absolutely Doug and I don't really know Doug and
They're
Otis
awesome.
like that, but I want to get to know them. I want to get to know their work because they seem like amazing people, and obviously, Lydia and Aaron have them on board as well. So obviously, they're great people. And
Thank you.
obviously, anything Lydia's involved in, I definitely want to support because I love Lydia. I really do. I wouldn't have her on the show. I don't have people on my show that I wouldn't trust. And I trust them all. And I want them. I want this movie to get made. And I know it will get made, which brings me to my next question on when is the planned filming date? It's a three-part question, by the way. A planned filming date. Do you have a planned release date in mind, or even just a year? And how do you plan on releasing the film for the public to view?
Well,
What do you
tentatively,
want?
right now, the filming date is going to be sometime next year.
Oh, we're looking at the spring.
Okay.
Yeah, and
And
release could be maybe
I would say
Halloweenish,
early. You think
or
it's
maybe
kind of a
earlier. It
quick
just
turn.
depends.
I mean, that's a quick turnaround though.
Yeah, it is. It is a
We
quick
do
turnaround. It just
have
depends.
we do have theater releases in mind.
Mm-hmm.
We actually have a meeting coming up next week to talk with a theater chain. I've already talked with a theater chain who agreed to release it, so that will be interesting. And Aaron and I were talking about going the route of finding a distributor versus self-distributing it. We were still
Right.
tossing around those ideas.
You lost the mic.
Meh? Can you hear me now?
I can hear
I
you.
heard her.
Oh.
Yeah, I heard her.
Meow.
Do you
Sounds good.
you plan on going like a film festival route at all?
That would be fun. I have not entered like horror cons and stuff like that. If that's what you're referring to, I'd love to do that. I know Lydia and Doug and Bill Diamond were at one Showboat Casino a couple months ago,
Mm.
New
and
Jersey
there's
Horror
one other
Con.
lined up.
Yeah.
Yeah, HorrorCon, and then there's another one lined up for the end of September for the same. I think it's the same company,
New Jersey,
New Jersey
but
HorrorCon.
it's in Edison, New Jersey.
Yeah,
Nice.
and Lydia's going to be at one that she was invited to as well. I think it's a one-dayer.
Yeah,
So
Zombie Fest in Rhode Island, June 29th.
Nice.
Nice.
Awesome.
Well, that's
pretty cool.
awesome. And the last question I got is for everybody. We'll start with Aaron, go downward, I guess. Anything to promote? Social media, websites, any other projects that you got going on that you want to promote about that you guys are in, or anything else at all?
Well, okay. Well, obviously, Hellsgate. You can find us on Indiegogo by the name Hellsgate the Movie. You can find Hellsgate the Movie on Instagram and Facebook. Hit the like and subscribe buttons for that, and follow our journey as well on that. We actually also have a Hellsgate the Movie Facebook group for the public. There's about 100, little over 100 people on it right now. Go and check that out. I'll be updating some stuff in there as soon as I can. Stuff that I'm working on. Oh boy. Well, my three agents keep me busy. I have an audition for a public service announcement type of commercial for Indianapolis that I have to do probably tomorrow. And I'm always thinking, I'm always developing new things. So I'm developing uh, another serial killer style movie that combines John Wayne Gacy and Jeffrey Dahmer as one person.
Oh wow,
So I'm going to
interesting.
entertain that idea instead of having like multiples, which is good. I want to see what this comes up with, what this comes to fruition with, and go from there with that. And yeah, that's really about it. I mean, other than I do have a psychological horror out called Evil Lurks that is on 20 different platforms. And it was informed to me last night, a friend of mine said, "Hey, your movie is on like the 9,000 channel on Dish Network." I'm like, "That's news to me."
That's
Okay, I don't have
exciting.
Dish Network, so that's cool. And I'm like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, because there's another movie out that's titled When Evil Lurks that's getting a lot of
Yeah, that's
you know,
crazy.
yeah,
Wow.
it's really crazy.
That's awesome.
So she took pictures of it on her TV and posted it. I'm like, holy shit. All right, that's cool.
That
You know,
is pretty cool.
so that's what's going on. And besides working a survival job, you gotta
Yeah,
Yeah,
survive somehow.
I mean, yeah.
exactly.
Yep. So that's what's
Awesome.
up.
So also I want to let anybody know before we go any further that if you want to check out my solo interview with Lydia Manson, that is on the Slash of Scotty page. We did that, I believe was it this past weekend or late last week or
Yeah, it was
something.
like a week ago.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
so definitely check that out. And Lydia, if you want to let everybody know what you got going on.
Well, I just got to film the Fairfield County 4 with these two gentlemen below me yesterday. So that was fun.
Yeah. Actually, I think
Um,
you mention last interview that you were filming it, and now you could say that you did film
I
it.
did. It's done.
Done.
My part is in the can, as they would say.
Yep.
And then this weekend, I will be filming the Castle de la Mort by director Ty Chaman. Otis is actually rocking the shirt. Ty
Nice.
was actually really great. He promoted Hellsgate a lot for us. So
Mhm.
really thankful
Nice.
for Ty, even when he was promoting his own film. So that was really great. Um, Middle of July, I will be going to Chicago to film the Red Hunters series, which I know you were talking about time period pieces. It's set in the late 1800s.
Mhm.
Um, and then in November, Otis and I will actually be co-leads on a toy maker together.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll be going down to Texas to film that.
Nice.
And
Nice.
actually, Robert Lizardo is going to be in that as well as Hell's Gate. So, and then you can just pretty much find me anywhere, Lydia Manson 88.
Nice. Awesome. Otis, what do you got going on?
Well, finishing up Fairfield here this week. And then don't really have anything going on until, as Lydia mentioned, a toy maker filming the end of November into December. Um, and then hopefully early spring, sometime the first half of next year, Hell's Gate. So yeah, it's gonna be back-to-back lead roles. That's no pressure there, man.
No.
No
I'm
pressure,
not
but
worried about
exciting.
it with a toy maker. I'm not worried about it with a toy maker because I got Lydia there. She's my sidekick through this whole thing. And that's another campaign to go
Still
check out, I
running,
guess. Huh?
still running. And they actually, I'm sorry, I don't mean to take it for
No,
you.
you're good.
They
You're
just
good.
released an awesome new perk because we're going to be filming, at the end of November.
Okay.
Um,
Oh
and
yeah.
it takes place in a toy shop. They made a perk where you can help buy some of the toys to fill the toy store, and then they'll be donating all those toys to those in need for Christmas.
That's
So
amazing.
you can
That's
that is a perk that
awesome.
they just put up. So sorry, Otis.
I'm sorry, but I love some of these perks that my guests are coming on that are very unique. I had somebody on, Jake C. Young was on my show a
Yeah.
Oh,
couple days
Jake,
ago. And love Jake. Oh, that's right. We gave a shout
that
out
was a
to Lydia
terrible
there too.
interview.
You're
A
like, oh, you're
terrible
making me
interview.
cry, guys. But he even told me they have a perk where they're getting the actual soil from the Haunted Grounds of Souls Chapel and bottling it up and sending it to people that donate to that. That's real. I love these unique perks that everybody's coming out with. It's amazing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
a toy maker, they've got some they got some really cool perks over there. You can take level one stunt training and actually do a stunt in the movie. Trained by Emmy Award winning Mark Anthony Baca.
Wow.
Um, so yeah, that one's gonna be stunt filled. It's gonna
Crazy.
have some comedy, some gore, some action. It's gonna be a fun time. So I'm pretty much Otis B. Dreads everywhere. So
Awesome.
all the socials, and I ain't on many. Just Instagram, which I never go to hardly, other than to collaborate with a
And you
Hellsgate
barely
post or
accept
something.
those.
Nice, nice. And what
Yeah.
about Doug, the hat twin of Aaron?
And glasses. Look at those.
Well,
They're
I
like
actually got to check
twins.
my IMDb to refresh. No, a lot of things that we've done over the past years, are finally coming out. Like you mentioned, Stream was one. Boy
Mhm.
from Below should be out in October.
Nice.
Blood on the Bleachers. We just had a theatrical premiere in Kentucky. We had 600 people in the theater. It was unbelievable.
That's awesome.
Really, really great turnout. And as far as what's going on coming up is Hellsgate, obviously.
Mhm.
Grab a perk, Indiegogo, please.
Definitely.
I was lucky enough to be in a Apple TV show called Dope Thief that aired like 8 episodes, which is over now.
Nice.
And we're going to be filming a movie called The Desperate in September,
Mhm.
starring Noel G and Dominique Swain, a whole bunch of Leonore Shelfo, action thriller movie, which should be pretty good.
Okay.
Then early, it's probably at the end of the year, or hopefully it gets picked up by the end of the year, a TV series called Triple Threes, which is like a mobster type thing,
Okay.
which, hopefully that'll be like a network thing. And then we filmed Happy Gilmore 2. I'm lucky if I don't get cut out. I'm lucky enough to be in a scene with Adam Sandler.
That's awesome. Adam
Yeah,
Sandler you're in with. That's big right there.
yeah, let's see what happens. We'll see. You never know until you watch it.
Exactly. That reminds me, you ever watch Friends?
Oh, yeah.
That reminds me of Joey Tribbiani brought his grandmother who didn't speak English to see this big scene he's in, and they cut him from the scene, and he didn't know
Yeah,
how to tell her.
it's the truth. It happens.
It
It's great.
does. It does.
Yep. I was in this Dope Thief TV show. I waited like 2 years because of the strike and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I finally get to the episode and you got a close up of my back.
Oh,
You know what I mean? And we
man.
shot for 3 days. So, you just don't know.
You really don't. It sucks when it happens, but it's part of show business, I guess.
Yep. Yep.
Yep. All
But
right.
hopefully it works out well. Yep.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all so much for joining me this evening.
Oh,
Thank you.
Having us.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Hey, thanks
Well,
for watching me move the laptop around and not be able to figure out basic electricity indoors.
You did.
yeah.
Yeah, I had to
You
come
got
into
it.
another room. I still can't turn that damn light on.
Oh,
I'm
How
telling you,
many
try the
actors does
book.
it
Try
take
the
to turn a
book.
light on?
Try the book. Yes, but when
did you try
Hellsgate,
clapping?
Hopper.
try it. I was
That
hoping it
would
would
have
turn
Something
on.
just
What a way
flashed
to
back.
end.
if it really did, I would have died laughing.
Oh my god. Well, when the movie is filmed and ready to come out for more promotion, let's have everybody back on. If you want to invite more cast members as well, you can, and we'll get it promoted and let everybody know where it can be seen. And I can't wait to see it. It's going to be great. Anything Lydia's in is great, and Aaron directing is going to be amazing. I always flatter Lydia. I have to, but she's just amazing. She really is.
She's just a regular gal. I've met her. She's not that great.
Amazing and she's very humble but amazing nonetheless.
She really is. And I thank you
Yeah.
guys so much for joining me this evening. It's been
Thank
so
you for
much
having
fun.
us.
And I
Thank you.
can't wait to get this up. I'll let you know when it's up. And thank you guys again.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Thank you.
Toodles.
Yep. See you guys. Bye.
Yeah.